can't catch a break today, can we?
Nope.
Oh, God.
It's alright.
Hydras are pretty good.
Yep.
You somehow staying on top of your macro during all this? Wow, I did not expect that to still work.
Yeah, because of the whole, what do we call it, like, elevator, I guess you could say. I can, you know, as long as he doesn't have Colossus at this point, it still shouldn't be too big of an issue.
So I guess to kind of summarize the build, we scout, forge, fast, expand. We skip or cancel Zergman speed, and just go straight to lair, fast pour gas, and pump out hydras.
Yep. And then from there, if, you know, as long as I do enough damage, I can even transition straight from there to take my third, you know, go Roach Corruptor off of that. It's really just a timing attack. As long, but it obviously has to deal some sort of damage.
Yeah, obviously, but I think, like you said, unless it's a 6-gate, you should be fine. Now, I think the game on in the Masters Cup that you played, you actually did find a Colossus there waiting for you, but you just happened to have enough stuff in time.
Luckily, because of I add in those slow Zerglings, it kind of adds 2 separate levels to deal with the Colossus. It's not optimum, but to be honest, the only reason why I was really able to get it to work against him is just because I was able to kind of out-micro him. Whereas if he had been pulling probes to kind of wall off the Zerglings, wall off the Hydras, and then just engage with the Colossus behind the probes, he would have been fine. Another thing that kind of added to that that game in particular was the fact that he obviously wasn't going to have Colossus range up at that point as well, and so you know, the Hydralisks were able to engage the Colossus at the same time the Colossus could engage the Hydralisks, and so I kind of just targeted them down pretty quickly.
Right. Cool. All right, so I have a Terran player that wants to play this with us, but he is in a game. It's the same guy that you played in one of our other sessions who said he was quite upset that you beat him. So.
Oh yeah, I remember.
So you might just try to wait until he gets out of that game.
All right.
And
then after I've upset him, I'm gonna go ahead and cheese him.
Pretty much. So I'm going to go ahead and hop into a game. I'm just going to host on Metalopolis. And I guess we should probably approach this the same way as we did previously. We'll play a standard game, and then we'll try to mix it up a little bit.
Okay.
Now, let me ask, against Terran players, do you adopt any sort of different mindset when it comes to, I guess, your all-ins?
Well, I guess a lot of my sort of all-ins have to do with against Terran in particular, are going to be against fast expand Terrans, like Protoss, or the Terrans who like to go 2-racks, expand, 1-racks, expand, any sort of early expansion. It's almost impossible, actually, to cheese a Terran who's on 1 base,
yes, I agree.
other than like some sort of like early Baneling bust. And a lot of my early cheese, at least, is going to be centered around early Baneling play. Like, you know, even if they scout you going like mass Ling Baneling off 2 base extremely early on, it's still actually quite hard for a Terran to hold that has an expansion. You know, I'd say it takes about 3 bunkers or so at least worth of Marines to hold a Ling Baneling all, and that's if, you know, they're repairing it perfectly.
Right.
You know, have them in good positioning and so on and so forth. I guess the only other real cheese would be like some sort of like early roach pressure, but for the most part, if they scout it, any kind of like early roaches, like a lot of it's going to be based on map. Once again, like the distance between bases has to be fairly short in order for you to actually, be able to get the roaches over there in time to deal any sort of damage. One map that I actually love extremely early roach pressure on against Terran would be Scrap Station, just because those rocks, really aren't as tough as everyone thinks they are.
Yeah.
You can break them down fairly quickly, and I actually win a lot of my matches on Scrap Station just with extremely early roach baneling pressure.
Really? That's kind of something I wasn't expecting to hear, because on Scrap, I think we all want to play mutas, and you're saying Roach Banes is something that can work.
Yep. Once again, it depends completely on my opponent. If I know that I'm playing a very mechanically solid player who's just trying to drag a game into mid-late game, I'll actually pull out some sort of cheese there against Terran, just because, particularly lately, I've found the map extremely hard against Terran, just because those early siege tank marine pushes through the rocks have been, quite hard to deal with. One player in particular would be Kawhi Rice. I played him in a series the other day, and I actually didn't go extremely early roach pressure, but immediately after Muta, I was already working on breaking down the rocks, time my baneling speed to hit directly as the second rock was going to be removed, and then just flooded his natural with very good timing, while kind of spreading his forces through my main, or through his main rather, with good Mutalisk Harass at the same time, and ended up being very successful.
Cool. Well, that's interesting. Maybe we'll play Scrap after this, so we can hopefully see some of that. I would agree that Scrap has gotten harder in this new era of ZVT, and even I've been struggling there more so in ZVP, to be completely honest with you, just because that turtley style seems to really benefit the Protoss player. How do you feel about these kinds of same roach plays on Blistering Sands? I know I see a lot of it at the highest level, a lot of roachling aggression against Terran.
I don't agree with it so much on Blistering Sands. I do see it a lot. One of my teammates, Strife Crow, actually loves to do that there. But, I don't know, for me personally, I've just never really had great success with it, I guess, so I kind of steered clear from it.
Does Strife Crow do any coaching?
Yes, he does, actually.
We might have to bring him on one of these days, because we've kind of adopted his ZVT style, and I'd like to hear his take on it. Or I shouldn't say we. I've kind of adopted that sort of infestor heavy style, like I told you earlier.
Yeah, he definitely plays his own style, but it's very successful for him. He's extremely good.
I think one of the reasons that it's so strong is because so many Terrans are just blindly making a million billion Marines and not really doing anything else. So I mean, we'll see, what happens as the metagame ebbs and flows. I need to put it on the machine cam so I can see you and all your awesomeness. I'm gonna have a seizure. Let's get it back on the everyone cam.
Alright, so scouted them close air positions, and let's look for that barracks. Assuming it's at the bottom of his ramp, and there it is. Late, seems.
How do you feel about this low ground wall in?
I hate playing against it, but it's very good.
Yeah, it bugs me too.
I'm just going to send a drone and see if I can go harass his wall at all. Probably going to be unsuccessful, but if I can get him to maybe pull another SCV or something and delay it just a little bit, it might help me out. And let's go to the second barracks.
Hello, 2-Rax. Now I think it's probably worth noting that that this guy probably doesn't play the most standard TVZ. if you recall from his games with us previously and the games I've played with him since then. He does like lots of marine aggression, kind of low economy stuff.
Yeah, yeah. Hmm.
That's the old Mr.
It's
Bitter
just a
scouting
different type
report.
of style. Yeah.
Almost like Poke Bunny, if you've played against Poke much.
Oh yeah, I played him a few times.
He's absolutely infuriating to play against.
Alright, so typical bunker rush. Go ahead and make sure I get my 2 spine crawlers down.
So you're more worried about the spines than you are about the bunker right now.
Yep.
Is that because the bunker's out of range of your hatchery? Just
No,
because you're
I hadn't
machine
even
and
thought
you're
of that.
cool.
Yeah, just how I do it. Honestly, like, as long as these 2 spine crawlers get up, I'm not worried about the aggression at all. Oh, get the marine.
Yeah.
Oh, come on. Figures.
Such is life. And now you're feeling good, right?
Yep. This bunker's out of range. Not even going to bother adjusting my second spine crawler.
Do you have any
Start
tricks,
drone.
any tips for kind of gauging the range on that spine crawler? Because I never get it right. I always root it too close and it dies.
I typically do it to where the line looks as if it's just not quite going to hit the bunker, and then I typically find that's perfect.
Alright. So root it just out of range and you will be successful, is your advice.
Yep.
QQ is all I have to say to that. So you are in full-on drone mode, which is the bravest shit I've ever seen in the face of this kind of aggression.
Yep.
Oh, poor
I
Marine.
feel pretty safe here. I can, with my Overlord rally on edge of my base, I still see that he's sending Marines, but it's pretty slow kind of trickle Marines, I guess. So I'm not too super worried about it. Because I have those early drones I just made, I can just go ahead, throw down his third spine crawler, and then I see him retreat, so I'm not going to do that. Go ahead, get my Baneling nest, and if he follows this up with an expansion, this is actually a perfect time to go ahead and play this extremely early aggressive kind of counter style.
Well, I want if this is an opportunity for it, I would love to see it, but I do not want to beckon cheese if it's not time for it.
Yeah, yeah. Well, yeah, that should be pretty successful. So, basically, alright, so I do scout the expansion. I'm going to go ahead start Zergling production once I've kind of made up my mind.
You've made a bunch of drones still, like you're ahead in worker count right now.
Yep.
And this is pre-layer aggression?
Yep. That's pretty much it. Just right before, like around the same time that I'd be going ahead and grabbing my lair.
That's a lot of banelings. Just doing the old baneling rally thing.
Kill a decent amount of SCVs. My economy's still fine. I'm just gonna go ahead and start my lair.
Are you just rallying Link? Oh, GG, sis.
Yep.
Alright, well that was cool. That was a good demonstration. So this is sort of reminiscent of Kyrix in the GSL, right?
Yep.